Good morning, friends. I have something I wanted to share with you. So, as you may know or may not know, I am a huge Paul Rubens fan, have used them for many, many years, long before I was on YouTube. And this year is their 15th anniversary. So, every few years, they'll send me something like this. Look at how cute this is, this little box. So I was pretty excited when I opened this up last week. It was a little unexpected. Thank you, Paul Rubens. I love their products, as you already know. And let's just open it up. So there's two little fans. I mean, how cute are those? I'm going to try and paint on those. It feels like they're watercolor paper. They're kind of a stock board. So we'll maybe paint some cherry blossoms on there. See what else we have here. Kind of a little circle, my type of image there with my landscapes. Oh, that's cute. Not positive what this is. If any of you maybe know. It's cute. There's two little pandas. Very cute. If any of you know, please comment below. I'd love to know what I might use that for. Best wishes to you. Aww. Just thanking me for being with them for so many years. And I do love their cold press watercolor journals. Let me open this up. I like these because, you know, I love portable, and I'm going to paint some cherry blossoms. So we're going to try and paint on those little fans. If not, I will paint in this book. My goodness, if I can get it open. So as you know, I love these. I have bought the Paul Rubens. They're really nice quality. I almost hate to use them just for practice because, as you can see, they're quite stiff and heavy and have a wonderful texture. And they're even perforated, so I could tear it out. So we'll see which one I paint on, those or these fun little fans. And then let's see what else we got. Ooh, some more of their pigments, which I love. I already have the 24 set. So I think today I'll use those because I'm sure they're the same. But let me just open this up and let's check it out. I believe what I have is the 48 and the 24 set. But let's see. Aren't their colors pretty too? Oh, there's something else in here. Huh. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to write them and ask. It looks like some type of little light. So let's see here. There we go. Oh, this is the 40. This is the 36 colors. That says 48. And what I love about the Paul Rubens is the majority of them are 4-star light fastness, which is really a great, that's high. 5-star would be the highest. So as I'm always talking to you about, that's really good. That means they're going to last for years and years and years. Is there something else in there? Okay, so thank you again, Paul Rubens, and I join you in celebrating your 15 years. What a fun little box, too. Definitely be using that for something. Isn't that cute? Really pretty. So thank you, Paul Rubens. Let's see. So let me open. This is my set. This is 24 colors. This is one I've used in the past. Again, I love these colors. That just really calls to me. And I'm going to give those a little spritz. I want to say these because they consider these really more like a professional set because of that high light fastness rating. And I'll also tell you, if this is something that interests you, the majority of these are single pigment, which is really good because when you're using a single pigment, just for you beginners, you know what color you're getting. If it's got several pigments in there to create the blue or the red, you are going to maybe mix it, and because you don't know what the other pigments are, it could be a little muddier. So the single pigments are said to be pure. I did swatch these out for you. These are with my 24 set. So really some beautiful combinations. They've got my greens, some nice neutrals, and of course the yellows and reds. So I like that. All right, let's play with that little fan and see what we can create here. Let me grab something. Let's see. Okay, so today I'm going to be using, I have my little the cherry blossoms here just for some inspiration. And I'm going to be using my 8 round, which is quite snappy, but I've also got the 8 Princeton brush here, which you know I talk about a lot. I love their brush. So I've got that here for you too, and I'll put all these links down below. But for the most part, I'm going to be using my 8 round. There we go. And I've got my 2 containers of water in my beautiful white dish. So one side I'm washing and one side I'm rinsing. And I just like this dish because it's nice and heavy. Most of the things on my desk are white. I have an awful lot of stuff on my desk, so I like to, as much as possible, keep everything white and clean so it's not too jumbled up. And then I might just use, this is the MAB Planet series, along with the Paul Rubens. I might just use a little bit of this pink in here. I'll show you what these look like swatched out in just a second here. I bought these last year and I haven't used them a whole lot, but I do really like them. Let me show you what they look like. Let's see, in my handy dandy swatch book here. So let's see, that is the Planet series. So I think there could be some really pretty pinks in there to go with our cherry blossoms, either Jupiter, Mars, really pretty. Okay, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to make this super duper simple. So let's get some of that pink. Let me look at my swatch sheet here, where did I put that? Oh, here we go. I think I'm going to go in with what they're calling premium rose. And then for the branches, I really like the Van Dyke brown and maybe just a tiny bit of the ivory black. And that'll be about it unless I add in a few little stems and things. What I want to do first is just draw out just a few guidelines. Hopefully this is going to work on here. I just thought these were so cute. And they actually work pretty well too. Yep. Okay, so let's draw out. Here's my stem. A little cherry blossom here. There we go. Let's work with that. So I kind of drew out the stems. The way I'm going to do these cherry blossoms, I want to make it really easy. So I'm just going to use little dots of color. So let's go to our pink here. I think they called that premium rose. And I'm going to put a little bit of that in my palette here. Ooh, look at that color. Oh, that's gorgeous. It's very similar to the little cherry blossoms I have on my desk. And I'm going to mix about 50 water, 50 pigment, and then I can always dot in some more saturated, maybe 80% pigment, 20% water into the center. And then I'm going to put, I was already kind of playing with these. So this is some of that Van Dyke brown. Whenever I do cherry blossoms, I like to really make that dark, dark stem because I just think it's such a beautiful contrast to the cherry blossoms. So those are the 2 basic colors I'm going to use. So let's just set that right there, put my little birdie brush down. By the way, in my subscription box, you're going to get a little stand for your brushes. So excited for those to start shipping in September. Okay, so rinse my brush, wash my brush, rinse my brush, tap, tap, tap. And let's go in and put some little dots for the center of our cherry blossom. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I see it spreading a little. Let's see what happens when I put the water on those. Oh, it's spreading quite a bit. So this may not work as efficiently as I hoped. I really didn't see any information. I'm just using a wet brush, by the way, on these fans. Maybe they were meant to stay dark, but you know what? Let's go with it. Let's see what we can create here. So it's not quite behaving as I might like it to on regular paper. So let's do 3 dots on this one. 1, 2, 3. Try this again. And then just with water, I'm going to pull that out. There we go. Maybe a little one there. So we can still create some art with this, but I'm going to also play with their cold press paper. Not sure what this is. It's pretty cottony. Let's do one right here. And then pull that out just with some water on my brush. Go like this. There we go. Okay, it's still pretty. It's just a little different effect than I expected. And I'm trying to use my paint a little thicker because this is pretty absorbent. Let's do one maybe right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 3 again. Rinse my brush, tap it off. So there's not too much water. It's kind of damp. And let's pull that out. So they're still pretty. Maybe do a little tiny bud in here. So those are going to be a little tougher because see how they're spreading out? So I'm going to go a little thicker here. And those will be just maybe some little buds. So that one, not quite so happy. Let's make that into a cherry blossom. There we go. Okay. Now we'll go in with that Van Dyke brown. Let me grab a little bit more of that. I just love this deep chocolatey brown. And because I'm seeing how this is really spreading out, I'm going to go ahead and go in pretty thick with my paint. Let me darken that up just a bit. I probably could have even used gouache on this or pen and ink. There we go. So that's kind of fun. I'll do some little on cherry blossoms. A lot of times they have these little like stubs that come out. So that's kind of pretty. And then let's just add a few green leaves. I'm going to go in with, I think they refer to this as sap green. I think it's this one here, which to me looks a little bit like a lemon yellow, but they're referring to it in their specs as sap green. And, ooh, isn't that pretty? We'll just fill in a bit here. Oh, I really like that. Yeah, that's cute. And maybe go into the center. Let's see, let's add, let's use pen and ink on here and see what that does. Hopefully those are dry. So I'm just gonna go in and draw a couple. Oops, you know what? I feel like I want this is a size 8. Let me get a smaller tip. Let's try a 5 because it's kind of spreading in here. Yeah, I like that better. It's a little thinner. There we go, some little dots. Yeah, that's quite cute. There we go. And there's a little cherry blossom fan. So Paul Rubens, I hope I did that justice. I'm going to play some more with that. But let's play with their cold pressed paper, which, as I said, I really love. I wish you could feel it. You can almost hear it, how thick it is, and I really like that. Let me put this. These are great too. I love portability in my art supplies because I like to take them with me. So for this one, let's do the same thing, but I'll do kind of a sweeping over here. So let's go like this, like that. Something like that. Okay. And I'm going to use my 8 brush again. Let's go back in. I wish you could feel this beautiful paper. It's so nice. And we're going to do the same thing, the dots. I'll start with a little bit darker. So this is probably 80% pigment, 20% water. I'm tapping off though because I don't want too much water. And we'll go in with our dots. Now, hopefully you'll see right away, like on the fan, it immediately started spreading out. It's not doing that here. So wash, rinse my brush. I've got water in there, just tapped it off a bit. And now I'll go in and pull out those petals. Pull it out using a little bit of the side of my brush. Aren't those so pretty? Yeah, I like that. There we go. And then let's do, maybe, let's do another 3 petal right there. Rinse my brush, still have water in it. And I'm just point, press, and kind of going in a circular motion. Like that. And I think what I'll do is go into the center there. I just tapped into the paint, so it's a bit thicker. And just tap in. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, fun. Let's do another one here. Let's see, how should we make this one? Let's do again, let's do a 5 petal again. 3, 4, 5, just little dots. Rinse my brush, so I've got pure water. Point, press, and go in a circle. Point, press, and go in a circle. Same thing, just repeat for all of these. I'm going to rinse my brush a bit. There we go. Nice. Go into the center with a little bit more concentrate. Look how pretty those are. Aren't those fun? Let's see. Let's do, how about if we do some lighter ones? So I think I'll go into what's on my palette here. And I'm picking up some, this is about 50 pigment, 50 water, tap, tap, tap. And let's just create some little buds here. Just kind of going down. I'm just really like point, press, lift. Do some more. There we go. Some little buds. And I might tap in at the base of those with a little bit more color. And let that kind of spread. Yeah, that is really pretty. And then let's, while we're waiting here, I'm gonna go in one more time with some light value. light value, meaning 80% water, 20% pigment. And I'm just going to add some more flowers, kind of poking out here and there, just to kind of fill this up. And then before I get too far, I'm going to wash, rinse my brush, go into that dark Van Dyke brown, and let's start. Ooh, see, that's what I wanted. And the stems on these branches are actually quite heavy. So I'm kind of squiggling them around. They're not super duper thin. And I just think that contrast between the pink and the dark brown is so pretty. And I'm making them a little bit using the tip of my brush, so light pressure, and about at 2 o'clock, and I hold my brush near the ferrule for that control. But look at that. So a little more pressure, some squiggles in there. There we go. Ah, so pretty. Let's maybe make one coming up through here. And then we'll go in and we'll add some green leaves and dark centers. So rinsing my brush, go in with that pink again. And then touching in at the base just to give it a little fun spread there. There we go. So pretty. So make sure and vary your values. So some of these are going to be 80% pigment, 20% water, so more saturated, and some are going to be maybe 50-50. Tap off my brush, and let's do this little stem here. I'm going to come down with that stem. So here is my dark brown, my Van Dyke brown. I'm just going to add a touch of that lamp black. I really like my stems to be quite dark. And let's go ahead and draw this stem on here. Tapping in for some darker areas. They also, cherry blossoms always have those little stubs. So I'm just going to add a few of those. Something like that. Then maybe like an elbow in that section. And there we go. Yeah, it's kind of fun because even though the cherry blossoms are so beautiful and light, they actually, you know, the branch is quite heavy duty and dark and masculine. So you've got this almost yin-yang, feminine and masculine feel in here with the darks and strong, sturdy branches and the light pink flowers. So let's add a couple flowers in there, and you can use either the dot method or you can just use this kind of point press, point press, point press, point press, whichever method kind of works for you. And again, thinking about varying the value or saturation, just tapping in with some darker value in some of those areas. So I think this is quite pretty. Let me extend that stem or branch. Ooh, look at that. So pretty. Yeah, I like that. Really pretty. Maybe some little buds out here. Wash, rinse my brush. Pick up some of that paint, and we'll do a couple little buds here. There we go. And then pick up some of that dark paint. And I didn't even rinse the pink out of my brush because mixed with the brown, I think that could be kind of nice. Okay, let's add in some little green leaves. So going back to that green, and if, by the way, you wanted a little darker green, you could mix some of the pink in there, and it would give you this beautiful green. Maybe even a little bit of the blue, and see it darkening up. But I'm going to keep my cherry blossoms quite light. So I'll stick with their sap green here they've got. And let's just add in a few little leaves here and there. I love the green and the red together. They're opposites. I don't want to add in too many because I like the simplicity here. I think it's really nice. I could always add in some splatters. Matter of fact, let's just do that so you can kind of see what that looks like. Don't want too much because I feel like this flower is so beautiful on its own. Now let's go into the center where it's that black pen with the micron pen. This is, I'm going to use the 005, and I'm going to draw a few little details into the middle. So now, interestingly, this doesn't work as well on this paper. Let me grab a different pen. Let's see, I'm going to go for, here's another one, 05. Yeah, that works better. It's a little bit wet, so I think that's why I'm having a tiny bit of an issue. And just draw in some of these little sprouts in the middle, little stamens and such, little dots. Oh, look how pretty. I hope you guys try this. It's a really fun one. You could also use your Mylang palette and use that rose red. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, and we didn't even use our pink, let's try this, the Mars pink. This is the MABs. Let's just see what that looks like. Maybe we will just want it like this. But I thought it might be fun. I'll have to hold this up in the light so you can see. Let's try that color too. That's too purple. I want more of the pink. Just for a few of them. Again, I want to keep this kind of delicate. Yeah, I think that's actually plenty. And look at that, right? Isn't that fun? Let me hold it up so you can see the sparkles. You can see a little bit of that shimmer. So again, I will list, I'll find my link for the Paul Rubens cold press. I think you'll love it. It is quite thick. And the other thing I noticed they do in a lot of theirs is, number one, they give you this rubber band so you can mark your page, but they also give you this little pocket. Those are just really small details that I like. And there you go. I hope you give this a try. This Paul Rubens set is really, really nice. I love it. I've already been using it for over a year. And I hope you have fun with this. All right, everybody, happy painting. Make sure to hop over to Patreon. You can share your pictures of your version of these little cherry blossoms. And I think it was kind of fun playing with this little fan as well. Okay, happy painting. I'll be right here reminding you, you are an artist. And truly, I appreciate all of your input here. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this. If you would have maybe not used the glitter paint, the MABs, I'd love to hear your ideas too. All right, everybody, happy painting. Most of all, just have fun, play, and the rest will come. And I'll keep reminding you, you are an artist. All right, see you soon.